Welcome to the very, very first Real Rugby show on the Real Rugby channel. This is something that a lot of subscribers have asked for over the last year or two. A lot of requests has come in, give us more of your thoughts. Never thought that the time was going to be right to really launch a show or a podcast on YouTube, but we're finally here, and I'd like to welcome my very big mate here in the UK, Matthew Rhodes. Matthew, welcome to the Real Rugby channel.
Thanks, mate.
It's good to have you on. And what are we going to be doing over the next couple of months, years? Let's see how far this thing takes us.
Yeah, it's fantastic that we've kicked this off. It's been a long time coming. We've been talking about this for what seems like ages. Every time we get together around a braai, we watch the Bokke. We're always talking about how we need to kick this off. I think the complexion of what this is, we don't know yet. And in time this will come. But, you know, you've got a fantastic audience through Real Rugby. We like talking about rugby. We like sharing a brandy together.
That's it.
So, you know, the structure and the framework is going to be to have a jaw, to have a chat, and to see where this goes.
We'll go full Frank the Tank.
Yes.
If people don't know who Frank the Tank is, go and look it up. But we'll wing it. We'll wing it as we go. We'll see what the feedback is. And it'll grow organically. And we'll do something lekker. People who watch the channel will know we've got a massive archive of all of the classic rugby. So we'll incorporate that in some shape or form in the future.
Sure.
But I think to kick off, I mean, we're almost at the end of the Rugby Championship.
So great time to start this.
A great time to start. I mean, before the Island Test probably would have been a better time to start this. But life got in the way. But we're finally doing this, and I think it's still a good time because we can reflect a little bit on. Let's focus on the Rugby Champs. That's where we are now. The Bokke are leading the table. Things are looking good.
Yeah.
We lost last weekend. I mean, that was tough. You saw me on Saturday. I wasn't happy about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot to reflect on. Just to summarize, like, how do you see what state of South African rugby, how the Boks are doing?
South African rugby's in its greatest form. I think it has been for a while, but like the strength and depth that we have, it's well documented. We've got, you know, people coming out of the woodwork in every position. One person falls down and there's an equal or better person coming through the ranks. And so you watch the state of South African rugby now, it's amazing. Yeah. As a fan, I'm super thrilled because obviously we've got really good depth across all positions. We're playing an exciting brand of rugby, but for the first time in a long, long time, we're competing at the highest levels and consistently. Where there were a few barren years where the All Blacks were leading, you know, everything for so long. And unfortunately, I was living in New Zealand in those years. It was tough to be a Bokke supporter over that time. But I think for us, in terms of South African rugby, it's a glory time. And I'm happy to be a Bokke supporter.
It is. It's like that. I mean, the Boks have done well. Only 2 losses, each by a point. Bitter pills to swallow. But the one thing Rassie's always said, and I can't remember, you know, before which test it was, but he was very clear. And we all know this. His goal's 2027.
Yeah.
Right. We measure success on World Cups, which, you know, we'll get criticised for that. I know the Irish fans often say we'd rather win every single test in between World Cups. The All Blacks felt like that for a very, very long time until you don't win World Cups. Then Correct. It becomes an issue. Then people are saying, like, what are we doing wrong? Can we take a page out of Rassie's book? So we know the focus is 2027. Has he got it right in terms of team selection over the last 5 weeks? And obviously we know what the team's going to look like tomorrow for tomorrow's game in Nelspruit.
Yeah. He's definitely been a little cavalier at times.
Which is his way.
Rassie doing Rassie things. The pick of Mani tomorrow is an example of that. After last week and the way that all went down, a lot of people giving Mani stick. And so for Rassie to pick him tomorrow is obviously been, we've talked about this week, it's been contentious. But if he goes well, if he kicks well, if he ultimately wins us the championship, then is there an argument to say that, you know, Rassie knew what he was doing, as he does, and he picked the right player for the right moment. So I think there's been good selection throughout. Obviously, resting good players at the right times,
Yeah.
blooding other younger players at the right times, giving people a chance. So his man management has been excellent. And that kind of bleeds into, I think, the picking of Mani again tomorrow, because his man management is, as far as, reading through the lines here, all the stick that he's got this week, Russ is backing him again. Mani's a confidence player. Russie and the team are showing confidence in him to go, regardless of what happened or what everyone else is saying. We believe in you. We're going to make you start. I think he's been quite sly as well, leaving Andre on the bench. Give Mani 50, 60 minutes, throw the ball around, some razzle-dazzle rugby, and maybe win the game and win the hearts of the naysayers, on the side of the pitch. And if not, and it's close, and fair play, Argentina played exceptionally well through this entire tournament. If it's another close game and it gets down to 1 point, we need someone to kick it. Well, we've got Andre to come on the field and do that for us.
Well, that was my next point. Is will Russie pick Mani if he ever does a 7-1 bench? There's no way, unless Sasha's on the bench, right?
Yeah.
You need that insurance policy of a kicker that kicks 80%, that has got the BMT, that can kick the goals.
That you got confidence.
Without that, will Russie still back Mani? And I still have a question mark. But you spoke about Mani getting a lot of stick. Is it fair, you think, that people blame Mani, and because the public's come down hard on him? Is it fair on him?
Look, I think if you're playing for the Springboks, the world champions, back-to-back winners, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
If you're playing at that level, you got to kick your kicks. If you're playing at 10, relatively easy kick, dying stages of the game, clutch games, you're there at that level not because of chance. You're there because you're an excellent player. We talked about the depth of players in South Africa. There are heaps of young talent coming through. Selena Nhamba is a great example.
Yes.
Who can play 9, 10, kicks exceptionally well. Hendrickse kicking for the Sharks to win the game on the weekend. I just bring that up.
Why are you bringing up the Sharks winning the Currie Cup?
Because it was an amazing kick, and it was on the same day, a true reflection of clutch play, dying moments of a game, needing a kick to win, and effectively would have been, had Mani kicked it, that would have won the championship, right?
Yeah.
Essentially. And so, clutch moments, and there are a lot of people in the wings that could come in and take that spot. So, I think if you're good enough, based on selection, to play for the Springboks at 10, you don't miss those kicks.
No, you don't. And it's the same reason why Boeta Chamberlain isn't in the box setup.
Correct.
Right. Sorry, I'm still haunted about that draw in the semis. At least you won the final.
Yeah.
You didn't win the semi. I'm just saying.
So as a Bull supporter, we're just going to touch on this for a little. The fact that we beat you to get to the final and then won it, you're happy with.
You didn't beat us.
Oh, we did we not?
No, we drew.
Oh, it's the weekend before. No.
Yeah, but that's a pool game.
Okay. Okay. So
It's not a
we beat you on the way through. We beat you on the day by drawing.
I won't. I don't have sleepless nights over it. It is what it is.
Really, you brought it up a couple of times. I feel like it's a little sore point.
It's okay. I can take it on the chin. Back to the Bokke.
Yeah.
So Mani's back at 10. Russie obviously wants to prove all his detractors wrong.
Yeah.
I think it's great. Credit to Russie that he's backing a guy who we know is talented. We know Mani can play a good game. So we'll see how it goes. I hope he comes through. I hope he silences his critics, because Russie's the type of guy that will continue to back his players.
Yeah.
So let's hope Mani shines. What about the rest of the team? What do you make of the makeup compared to the side that lost in Argentina last week?
So I think Jaden Hendrickse coming on at 9 in place of Kobus is an interesting selection, because Kobus played really well. I think we play well when he's on the field, because his ball from deck to pass and out to the fly half or wherever's coming on is rapid, and so we get front foot ball, and that puts us in the ascendancy. So, but Hendrickse at 9, his delivery is also class. So I just thought Kobus did enough to maybe get another start. Again, man management on Russ's side. One is as good as the other. So who do you start? Maybe it's just his time.
Yeah, interestingly enough, like scrum half is the one position where we probably have 4 or 5 players that you can pick for any test and they'll do the job. But there's not one guy.
Who's standing
I don't even think Faf, is like dominating that position anymore.
Today.
Today. Williams has done well. He's come through. I've actually been impressed by Hendrikse when he's come on in the last couple of games that he's played. I'm excited to see what he does with the start. I do think his option taking is a little bit better than Reinach.
Okay.
That penalty we got, the one that Mani missed, sort of get the sense that Hendrikse milked it a little bit, but he played it well. He's like, ref, the guy's lying on the wrong side of the ruck. It's like, let's overemphasize how much this guy is in my way. I cannot get the ball out, and we got the penalty. So he's smart. He's very shrewd. I quite like him.
So, I mean, if you look at the forwards as well, so nine is an interesting selection, but again, like you say, rightly or wrongly, anyone could go in there and it's justified, right? Amongst them, Faf was the standout for so long, and the question is whether he's dropped his level of competence to become more in line with the other 3 that are now waiting in the wings, or have they stepped up and they're now all pretty much like for like?
Well, I think that comes back to Russie's selection policy, and that's what he's doing now. Over the last couple of years, he blooded these players. When did Grant Williams play his first test? End of 2022, maybe last year only.
Am I right in saying that he got knocked out in his first test?
Yeah.
From that tackle?
Yeah, I think so.
He went in and
that's correct.
Lasted only a few minutes.
I mean, again, Russie does what he always does. He spots talent and he backs the guys. So I think that's the reason. I don't think Faf is playing worse. Obviously, he's injured, but he's not playing worse than he did in 2019 when we won the World Cup. It's just the other guys have stepped up. There's now parity amongst the nines. And even a guy like Emrose Papier, who plays for the Bulls, he's had 2 fantastic seasons back to back. He doesn't even get a look in. He's probably number 6 on the list, but we've got depth at scrum half.
And that seems to be the thing that we keep talking, and everyone keeps talking about the fact that we got depth. So while it's an interesting selection, I think it's still class. If you look at we'll go 1 to 8. So Ox at 1, Bongi at 2, France at 3. I think again,
best front row on the planet.
Again,
how do you compete against that?
Yeah, exactly. 4, Eben. Shout out to him. He's gonna take the record on the weekend, so fair play to him.
He's going to take the record, and shameless little plug. Check the Real Rugby channel on Friday. We posted a tribute to Eben Etzebeth, 25 minutes long, brilliant tribute, if I have to say so myself. So
cheers to the boys.
Cheers to Eben. Eben, if you're watching this, hopefully you are. Well done. You are a legend of the game.
Correct.
And he will go down as the greatest Springbok lock of all time. Easily. Easily.
And he's got a long way to go.
Yeah, he's going to play 150.
And we look forward to watching him keep smashing them, bro. So, Eben at 4, Ruan Nokia at 5.
How impressed have you been by Ruan Nokia? It's like he's plugging a hole because we've got so many injuries. Arge's out, he's coming back now. Franco's out. And he's been awesome. I mean, he's not a superstar flashy player, but geez, he's a hard grafter, and he gets his work
Gets stuck in.
Gets stuck in. He's as tough as nails. I've been really impressed with him.
He's got an engine on him as well.
Yeah. Plays the full 80. He's awesome.
Sia obviously back at 6. Peter Steff, the king at 7, and Jasper Wies at 8. So again, like I look at that and I'm thinking, amongst all of those 8, who would you want to swap out in any other team in the world? And I'm just like, no one.
Nope.
So
there's probably an argument maybe for Ruan, for maybe one of the Irish locks.
Sure.
But James Ryan or someone. But no, that's the best pack on the planet.
Yeah.
Currently.
And so.
And Peter Steff's going to be hungry because he didn't make the trip to Argentina.
Yeah.
I saw Tim from Egg Chaser saying it's like a caged animal. He's been caged up for a week. He's going to be hungry to run out, and good luck to anyone that comes in his way.
It'll be bleak. We know he loves his wine,
He's angry.
And Argentina got the Lekker Malbec that he probably would have missed out on this time around. So
he'll probably still say that they make better wines.
Correct.
On his own wine than in Argentina.
So Jaden, we talked about it at night. Just before we do, Jasper at 8. He's been immense.
Banned for 6 weeks for something ludicrous he did here in Leicester. He's just around the corner from us. But he's been awesome. He's been immense since he came back against the All Blacks. Again, a Dwayne type of player, although I don't think he dominates as well as Dwayne does, but he could. Makes his meters. He never goes back in a tackle. You know, he dominates the collision.
Yeah.
No, Jasper's been awesome. Awesome dynamic player.
Of the 8 there, and in terms of Jacqueline, because it's one of the areas that I think that we have been slightly behind on is at the breakdown and the turnovers. We've talked about this ourselves personally outside of this. Looking at that group of players there, there's no standout Jackler amongst them. They're all good in the breakdown. They're all good.
They can contest and at a worst case slow the opposition's ball. I mean, Jasper can get the odd turnover.
Yeah.
So
Peter Steph can as well.
Steph can. That's not really what they're known for. It's not a Quagga type player or Michael van Staden who we know play close to the ground and do get a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
I think the key more for us is not really, you have to contest the opposition's ball, slow it down, see if you can win turnovers, because historically we've always been good at counter-attacking. I think the issue for us to resolve is, can we retain our own position? Because we turned over a lot of balls against Argentina, which frustrated the hell out.
Yeah, and this is the thing. We were a step behind, and they were sensational at the breakdown competition, where they turned over our ball regularly, and that's something you haven't seen for a wee while. So if we can firm that up, I think on Saturday, and we're taking a little tangent here, but if we can firm that up on Saturday, we can compete better at the breakdown, and we've got someone who can fetch. Maybe that's Sia, maybe that's Peter Steph, but we need someone to be able to turn over their ball on occasion, and someone who's going to be in there first man to secure our ball as well.
But it's also picking your spots. You know, if I think back, guys like Dwayne Vermeulen and Francois Lowe, what made them good, they weren't known as fetchers, but at critical moments, we won that test against the All Blacks in Australia in 2021. Got it from a penalty last minute from a turnover that Dwayne won. Similarly, Francois Lowe, he won that turnover against Wales in 2019, right at the deck, and we got the penalty. And we were through to the final. So it's like picking your moments. You don't have to be disruptive at every single ruck, but if you see Argentina gaining momentum, it's like picking your spot and going for it. You know, we need that type of accuracy.
Agreed. And to be fair to him, Ops and Bongi have both done that job on occasion as well. They've helped in turnovers. Obviously, we talked about Jaden and fair play. Great at 9. His delivery is quick, and he's also thinking 9 as well, which we both like. 10, Marnie, which we've discussed. 11, Kirtley, Aronsa.
I mean, he got a yellow card last week, which I felt was harsh.
I did too.
I mean, maybe they saw something different on the replay. I didn't really think it was direct contact. Sort of looked like he slipped up. But that yellow card completely changed the complexion of the game, right? They scored 2 tries. We were found out on the defense on the right-hand side when Matera scored. So other than that, he had a quiet game. You know, he wasn't as dynamic as he was. So I'm looking forward to Kirkley stepping up. You know, hopefully he gets some ball with Marnie at 10 that gets the ball out wide and he scores a couple.
Well, credit where it's due. Marnie runs onto the ball and he puts people into space. And so if you've got your winger coming through looking for, you know, on the angle looking for gaps and he can find them, that could be a dynamic partnership. So let's hope they exploit that.
Let's see.
On Saturday. The dynamic duo, Damien Gallaudet and Jesse Creel at 12 and 13. Not much to be said about them. They're just outstanding.
Solid.
Jesse's been amazing for the last couple of years. Fair play to him. He got his try on the weekend. You know, running in good lines.
Straight line.
Hitting the gap. That's what you want.
Line.
That's what you want.
To space.
Yeah. Cheslin, again, outstanding.
Super stoked to see him back.
Yeah, us too. And then Apelele Fassi at 15.
Stoked for the man.
Yeah,
I don't really know what Russie's plan is. I mean, I've got a soft spot for Villy because he's on 93, 94 tests. I want to see him get to 100, but with Fassi and with Damien Willems, who I now see is ready to play for the Stormers, I don't know if he's in the team this weekend, but he's ready to go again. I mean, you covered at fullback for those 2 guys.
But again, Willie offers you so much more from a thinking man's rugby.
Absolutely,
Right?
absolutely. But at 34, 35, he's not going to go to the next World Cup.
Saying that though, he played well when he came on in this championship. He
does.
He's not silenced his critics, but there are a few critics out there, and he'll have the odd game where he'll drop a ball. He has tough moments, and everyone gets on his back. Not unlike what's happening with Marnie at the moment. And then in clutch moments, Willie's the man to come through, and he plays that 10 channel so well, acting as first receiver, and then opens up our line. So if he can come in, if Apalele can come in and take over that first receiver role every now and again, he hasn't done much of that.
Yeah, I don't know if he's that type of player though. They're different types of fullbacks.
Sure.
I see Damien Willemse maybe playing that role. They've dabbled with him at fly off. We know he can create some space. Fussy is like a proper counter-attacking fullback, like a Cullen, a guy that can run from the back, find space, kick and chase, catch his own ball under pressure. It'll be interesting to see if he develops his game to become that link. Let's see, the time will tell.
Apalele Fasa and Christian Cullen in the same sentence. That's a big tip of
I'm
the cap.
I'm not comparing how because no one will ever compare to Cullen. I'm just saying in terms of the type of rugby.
I know what you're saying. It's just
counter-attacking fullback.
he's got a long way to go, but
He's got potential.
he's exciting with ball in hand. He doesn't just look to kick, and I think that's one of the things that I really like is his attacking play is outstanding. He's good under the high ball.
Solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
So, we love him on defense. He reads the game so well, picks up those kicks for touch, and then counter attacks. But if he can take a page out of Willie's book, and he can hit the line at times and come into the line first receiver, or act as another person running on, it just makes the outside man have some more space. So So let's see if that happens. On the bench, bomb squad as it is, we've got Malcolm, who's obviously speaks for himself, Gerard Steenkamp, Vincent Koch, Elric Lowe, Kwaka Smith, Kobus Reinach, Andre Pollard, and Lukanya. I mean,
one of the best benches we've fielded this year. I still have a question mark over as a bench player. I don't know if that's right for him. I don't. I'm trying to figure out what Russ is thinking there is. For me, he's like a starter, very similar to like an Anton Leonard Brown. I don't get why Razor picks him on the bench. They don't.
They're solid. Yeah.
He's solid, but you need a little bit of versatility. I'm more comfortable with Pollard covering fly off center. We know he can cover inside center, and if need be, probably even fullback.
Yeah.
I've got question marks over Lucanio as an inside center. I don't think it's his best position. He's an outside, out and out.
Correct.
That's my personal opinion. So it's interesting that he's on the bench. But yeah, I mean, that bench will do the job. If we don't get it done within 50 minutes, there's going to be some impact. And the guys that always come on, Malcolm, Kwacha, Vince Koch, they've been, awesome every time they've come on.
Yeah. Malcolm Marks, 20 tries.
Unreal.
Yeah.
I think there's a real rugby tribute coming.
Really?
Soon.
Very good.
I think so.
Keep watching that. Keep watching that channel. But like you say, those boys come on at any particular time and they're world class. And so, looking at that, if I'm any other rugby team in the world, which I'm not, obviously, but if I'm part of any other rugby team in the world and I see that who I'm going to face on Saturday, I'd be worried. And so, from the Argentinian perspective, what do they have to do to win on Saturday?
Play out of their skin. I see that picked Santi Carreras at fullback.
Okay.
He's got speed. They brought in, I forget his name, but the right wing from the 7 squad.
Okay.
I've got a sneaking suspicion they're going to go balls to the wall and just say, let's just go for it. Got nothing to lose. Nobody's thinking we can do it 2 weeks in a row. No one's going to back us in Nelspruit of all places.
It's going to be a humdinger.
I think they're going to throw the ball around and they're going to try and do what they did for that 20 minutes of the first half last week and run us off the field.
Yeah.
That's my feeling. I think we've got if our discipline stays intact, I think we'll be ready for it.
We need 50 men on the field at any the moment we get down to 14, we become a liability. But not many teams have taken complete advantage of that when we go to 14. We've managed to kind of weather the storm often because of our defense.
Yeah.
Just on Saturday
And
last,
sexed against the Argies,
I
and
know.
that's where I've got to give them credit. They exploited us. I mean, they played to that yellow card, and they went wide, and Matera scored that great try. And it's because Pollard was defending on the wing. It's not. I mean, yeah, we'll see.
For any neutral, I would expect that last week's game was an amazing game to watch. The way we came out, what was it? 17-0 after 16 minutes or whatever it was. And then, I think my wife said to you and I, watching alongside, we'll probably go home at halftime because, the game will be done. And then it flipped on its head. For me, as a Boca fan, I really enjoyed the game. I didn't enjoy the loss, obviously, but I enjoyed the kind of competitiveness of the game.
Yeah.
And the Argies deserve, I feel, their shot on Saturday. They've played well. They've beaten New Zealand. They've beaten Australia. They've beaten us. And so by rights, they deserve to be in the on Saturday.
They do. All credit to them.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, it hurts less when it's Argentina. 9 years ago in Durban, under Heineken Meyer, we lost for the very first time to Argentina by bad score just before the World Cup. And for me at that time, it was unacceptable. I'm like, no South African side should ever lose against Argentina. It's never happened before. It shouldn't happen. It's just not on. It's like losing to Japan or to Italy.
Yeah.
We're not going to bring that up.
I was hoping you weren't going to bring it up, and you did.
Yeah, no, it's buried. It's very deep there in the dungeons. But since then, we've lost to them 4 times now. They've beaten New Zealand 3 times. They regularly beat Australia. They put a record score on Australia. They beat France this year. Maybe not the best French team. They regularly beat England. They're not the minnows of world rugby anymore. And I think it's they've been to the World Cup semis twice, and I think it's awesome that they're now playing for a shot for actually winning the Rugby Championship. Who would have thought that 10 years ago? You'd say, it's like Italy going for the Grand Slam in the Six Nations. You wouldn't have ever thought that. So the fact that they're coming through now, I think is brilliant. I love watching them. I love their brand of rugby.
As a South African supporter, if they do win tomorrow, could you appreciate the fairy tale that this results in?
Maybe not on Sunday. It'll take me.
It'll take some time.
It'll take some time. If you speak to Sean Fitzpatrick today, he'll say, "Oh, what a great story! '95, Nelson Mandela. It's just they made a movie of it. Oh, it's so great." Ask him on the 25th of June 1995. He would have been, distraught and pissed off. So, I'll be able to appreciate it the same way I can appreciate the Sharks winning the Currie Cup, mate. I'm a bigger man, but it'll take me 2-3 days, I think, and a couple of brandies to deal with it.
And a couple of Brandewijn for the pain.
Brandewijn for the pain,
exactly.
Which hopefully won't be there. Hopefully it's more a celebratory brandy on Saturday.
I think personally, I think we'll win tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think, again, we've just gone through and dissected the entire team. If you gave me a choice of any one of those players, I don't know who I'd want to swap them out for, other than possibly
the next guy
the other South African players, right? So, and that's not an insult. Hopefully, not taken that way anyway to any other team. I just think we've got such class at the moment that we can stand up man for man against any other team in the world. That being said, if we do lose to Argentina tomorrow, then I think all credit needs to go to Argentina. They are going to throw everything at us. It's their one chance, I think, ever that they've ever had to win the championship.
Yeah, no, they've never been in the run.
They've never been in the running. Yeah. And so credit to Contepone and his team. Like he's got them firing. They've got a really good blend of forwards and back play. Like, so, they're winning the collision, they're winning at the breakdowns, they're getting their 10 and the other back line onto front foot ball, and they're swinging it around, and they're not afraid to run with it. So, and they've got a good kicker.
they've got a reliable kicker. Although Albanor's also missed a couple,
He's missed a
but they've
couple.
got Carreras now at fullback,
Exactly.
so they've now got an insurance.
They've plugged our gap.
They have. Yeah.
Yeah, so look, I think it's going to be a good game. We're getting together to watch it tomorrow.
We're going to watch it.
Yeah.
We're making some vet cook.
Yeah.
We're in the UK, so it's going to be lekker.
Fed cook, and there's going to be mince, and there's going to be other things, a variety of things to go with the fed cook. I think.
Yeah, and we'll record some of it, and we'll put some of the Sappers getting together here in the UK watching the rugby at my place.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll do a little bit of a hot take after the game, and before this goes onto YouTube land.
Apologies now for any language that might be heard, because we have a tendency to shout at that TV.
Editing, bro.
Editing, bro.
Editing. You take that. You bleep it out.
Yeah, but no, this has been fun. It's been fun to get together and talk about this. We're looking forward to how this evolves over time. At the moment, we don't really have much of an agenda. The people on YouTube can probably tell that we've just been sitting here doping and chatting. To be fair to everyone out there, this isn't scripted. This is what we do when we get together. And unfortunately, some young lady who was sitting next to us on the train as we came home the other day got to experience this in real time. We spoke for an hour on the train, just like this. So if that young lady ever is watching, apologies.
That's the best story ever. Yeah. We both worked in London, and we both live in Bedford, which is about 45 minutes out on the train. And we were on our way back on the same train. It was about a couple of months ago, just before the season started. And we were talking rugby. Everybody in the train's got their earphones in, minding their own business. And with 5 guys sitting around this young girl, she's the only person that doesn't have earphones. And we're talking rugby. We're like,
the whole time.
What's Russie doing? Strategy. I think it was just before the Bulls played in the final against Glasgow. We were talking about that. And
talking about going up there at the time.
Yeah. I think when we got off the train at Bedford, she could, recite the entire Springbok team that was selected, and she knew exactly what was going on in Russie's head. She probably went home to her father and said, Russie's doing this, and her dad was like, who's Russie?
Yeah, exactly. She put in an application to go work at Surrey.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, England needs a decent coach. Maybe she'll go into coaching.
Oh, maybe. That's maybe a discussion for next week. But
yeah.
We'd welcome the suggestions of your audience and the people of things that they'd want us to talk about, and different types of brandy for us to try and taste at their discretion.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Always happy with that. But mate, it's been fun.
It's been fun, Matt. Before we close, quick score prediction.
Tomorrow, Nelspruit home. I said last week we're going to win by 20. I was very, very confident and very ambitious. I'm going to go with a less confident win by 12 tomorrow.
Okay, you're going by 12. I went 12 last week. We were
Correct.
both wrong. So I do think we'll club them.
Okay.
I think, on the low felt, but still it's high up. I'll say Booker by 15.
So you're going closer to my score from last week, and I'm going closer to yours. Fair enough.
I think we'll rectify the wrongs of last week. So
whatever the case is, whoever is closer or not, we'll have to have a shot to enjoy.
Oh, we'll drink a kudu. On the next episode, we'll introduce the folks at home to what a kudu is. But we'll have a couple tomorrow. But Matt, it's been real. Cheers, boy.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you so much. On to the next one, and cheers to the Booker.
Go all boys.
Lekker.